I love to work with the woman that I do because I'm working with really highly motivated, driven women. I like to call them peak performers. They're women who know that they're meant for more, but their health is slowing them down. And this could be something that's been uncovered in the past 1 year, 10 years. Really, that varies, but they've hit a breaking point of it could be the burnout, or it could just be like, I'm ready to feel confident in my body and in my skin again. And whatever I've tried hasn't worked. And so, kind of like we've been saying, that the time collapsing mechanism is,
Yeah.
well, I can help you get there a lot quicker than you might be able to yourself, because we get a full comprehensive picture of what exactly is going on in your body. And then we systematically work through your body in a way to help you heal.
Welcome back to the Dana Grant Show, and boy, do I have a treat for you today. From Dallas Cowboy, that she was on my radar, Kicking to the Sky, and the Netflix series American Sweethearts. She was like the featured to a health crisis and there and beyond and everything in between. This is a big story. You're going to want to stay tuned. Amanda Soukoulis, welcome to the show. I have been so excited. You know how much I adore you.
Well, thank you. I'm excited for our conversation.
Oh my gosh. It's just like there's so much to unpack here. It's like where do we start? Do we start with the big on like wow? Let's start there because I felt the energy take me there on all of a sudden you try out for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Did you ever think it would be a Netflix series and that you would be the cover girl on the kicking? I mean, really, it was like a feature of you. I'm just gonna say it. You're the only one I see because of the energy and the physicality of what you were doing. And I'm like, how does she do that? There is no one I love to watch dance better than you, by the way. I'm just gonna say it. It's
Thank you so much.
magical. Oh, it's magical.
The joy from inside exploding out of me. One time you told me, you said, Amanda, dance is your soul battery. And I have kept that and ran with it because it really is. It just recharges me back up.
And when I need a recharge on my soul battery, all I do is watch you dance, and then I just do Pink Pony Club, like shake my little hips and pretend I'm dancing like you meant. Hey, if anyone's watching this, you need to go follow her right now on Instagram, where she shares these videos. Probably you share them everywhere. But they're so energizing. You watch them and you can feel the love. You can feel the joy. You can feel, which my language is energy. I am connected to energy from the day I met you. I'm like, do we know each other? Because that energy, we were connected from the moment I like literally ran into you. It was just like beam and you're still that light. You're still a beautiful light. Okay. That was a little bit of a squirrel. We'll get back. Okay. Let's start there. Let's start with the journey.
Yeah. So to answer your question, no, I had no idea that I would be on Netflix. I showed up to finals, the first two rounds for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. They're all virtual. And I show up to finals, and they give us this giant contract, and they pretty much say, sign your life away, or you're not allowed to move forward. And so then rumors start going like, oh, what is this for? For Netflix, I think, wink, wink.
Right.
And so I there were cameras all over. I ended up being one of 76 finalists, and that included all the veterans that were returning. They took, I think, around 45 girls to training camp, and I was cut that day. And it was such a fun experience. I've been dancing my whole life. And how cool is it that I felt stronger than I did when I was competing for one of the top colleges in college dance. And so
Right.
it's really wild then to be able to take it a step further and go that way. And obviously, I was devastated when I was cut. It's something I've been seeing since I was a child. But what I said was, wow, how beautiful it is that something could break my heart so much. Like, I tell people, I've never been heartbroken as much as I have been by dance. Like,
Yeah.
no relationship I've ever been in has done that, and that's so amazing to me that I can care that much about a passion of mine. So, anyways.
How long have you been dancing, by the way? We kinda jumped in there, but
Oh,
this
yeah.
But I know a lot about your story, but you unfold. When did you start dancing?
Yeah, I took my first class, it was a mommy and me class with my mom when I was 18 months old, and
Oh gosh.
I grew up with the same studio owner up until 18. I danced at my high school and then at my studio, so I was dancing probably 15, 20 hours a week, and I loved it, and then when it was time to go to college, I actually had gone to audition for the University of Texas for their Pom Squad, and I got cut. And then the following weekend, I went to a dance convention and got this, like, big award for, like, standout dancer. There was only a handful who got chosen, I got chosen. I'm like, "Man, I really don't think I'm supposed to stop dancing." So, then somehow I ended up in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania at Penn State, and it just so happened the weekend that I was visiting that I had auditions. There were auditions for the team. So, I kinda stumbled into it, couldn't even make it to the whole audition, but they said, "Just show up for what parts you can."
Yeah.
And I was able to do part of the audition virtually, and I made the team, and then, 5 years later, and it was the greatest experience of my life. So dance has been a through line for me. It's taught me so much, and it's been such a source of just joy and fun for me.
You know what I love is that you stayed committed to your commitment of your love for dance, even when the circumstances didn't always, you weren't received like you needed. You didn't get out of what you needed. And like you said, nothing ever broke my heart as much as that. It tells me the passion, the desire, the love, the connection, which is why I led an openness with people, go over and check Amanda Soukoulis out. And what is the name on Instagram since I've thrown it out there twice? How do they find you out there? What is the name of that? We're gonna say it over and over again.
Amanda Sooks,
That's
Souks.
what I thought, yeah. Amanda Sooks. It's like it's abbreviated, but you wanna just see pure joy, pure love on I talk a lot about being connected to the desire in your life and the joy that our soul joy has to be there. The mind has to get out of the way. It's to follow, but the soul has to lead. And boy, you depict every bit of that. I can see that. So when I look down and I look at the questions I wrote out, which I ignored completely up until this point, if you're listening, if you're watching us, you can see that she's radiant. She beams light and she just throws me all over the place. But we're gonna get back on course here because you, as I'm reading, a medical nutrition practitioner over 25 years, not only as an athlete and a coach, but you've really dedicated your life to peak performance. Tell me what that takes. Tell me what your day to day looks like, and what drove you to this field. It's not an easy field to be in.
Yeah, at first, I'll say that the joy is in the journey. We were just talking about how are we able to kind of make it through all of those moments, all
Mhm.
that rejection that you face, and the joy is in the journey, and that applies to
We're just gonna give Amberly a little plug because her book is The Joy Through the Journey.
Yeah, right?
Well,
Yeah. But that's
yeah.
and in college, we used to say the glory is in the journey, right? It's all in the process. It's in the becoming. It's not the end result that really
In the
matters.
becoming.
You know, that's something that dance has taught me because I faced rejection after rejection after rejection, year after year after year. And so when I face any other kind of rejection, it honestly is like, oh, okay, on to the next. Which is I think such a beautiful gift. And so I just wanted to piece that together for us, and
I love that, and you do have a gift. It is a gifted but you also are extraordinarily gifted. I know this because you tried to teach me a dance routine, and I decided to jump up and down and clap through the audience instead of it's like, I thought, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. I mean, you just have the body, mind, soul connection to show up and do it, I just don't think a lot of people when I see dance have that.
yeah, well, thank you. With like anything, it's a craft. You practice and practice and practice and practice, and, you have to practice the right way in order to see results. And going back to what you were saying about peak performance, I think I've always set a standard of excellence in my life, and that had a lot to do with the people that were around me. I went to a high school where we had a lot of Olympians that were in our
Mm.
like that had been through those hallways before we were, and I remember thinking how much your environment matters from when you're very young, because I remember in the 2014 Olympics, we had a freshman who was going to the Olympics for figure skating, and Carrie Walsh and Brandy Chastain, they're both former US Olympians, and they came and one of them said, "Look around, greatness is all around you."
Mm.
And that for me is just
Mm.
such a core memory because you're right. All of those people around me, they helped elevate me from a very young age. And so from there, I said, oh, this 14-year-old can go to the Olympics. I can do anything I set my mind to. And so from there, I just started learning and absorbing as much as I could. I think I've always had a drive in me to want to learn more, and I'm never just okay with the status quo. And so, how could I get in rooms and get around people who know more than me and that are better than me so I could learn from them to be better? And then all that comes down to is what are the systems that you have in place within all those environments?
Right. You know, I love that you said that, and here's the train rolling, you're in this wash, rinse, repeat, you've got a good foundation, everything's aligned, you're in the right rooms. I love the fact that you said, "Look around you, greatness is all around you," because greatness is within you too. You are the greatness, and you radiate that. But let's talk about when we're just gonna call it the crash and burn, when your health started to fail you. In the midst of all of this, what did you do different? I mean, here it's coming, and you're on the same track, you're rolling the same way, and everything is going haywire on you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, 2 months after I was cut in the finals, all of a sudden I noticed that my heart rate variability had plummeted. And if you're not familiar with that, that's a metric on my Whoop, and it tracks how ready your nervous system is to take on the day. So a higher
Mm.
score, the better, and it's relative for everyone. At the time, my HRV was on average in the 90s. Overnight, it plummeted down to the 60s and it did not go back up. And so that was a leading indicator that something was not okay with my nervous system. A month later, my energy dropped. A month after that, the brain fog set in, and I could not get out of bed. I could not think. My productivity just crashed and burned. And then shortly after that, the weight started piling on. And soon enough, I couldn't even recognize myself. I felt like a prisoner really trapped in my body.
Yeah. So, what were you doing through that period of time to get answers on, because I know you didn't just lay down and surrender, and I remember, us being connected through that period of time, and I remember you trying a lot of different things. What did you try? What worked? What didn't? What was a waste of your time? When I don't look at it anything as really a waste of our time. I'm thinking, we tried it, check, it didn't work. We just get closer to the answer,
Yep.
you know, um,
Exactly.
and I watched you get closer and closer to the answer to where you are now, and I'm like, it's almost like, the metamorphosis is like, wow. You were in a
Mhm.
place where with no answers, hitting wall after wall, doctor after doctor, you were doing all the right things. So tell us what happened and how you transformed into what it is you're doing now, and we'll unfold that when we get there.
Yeah. I remember going from one doctor to another, like you had
Yeah.
said, and telling them, "Hey, this is what I'm experiencing." And they look at me, and this was before the weight had started piling on me, and they're like, "Girl, you got a 4 or 6 pack, like, you're perfectly fine." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, I'm not okay."
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'd gone from person to person looking for answers, and finally, I remember I found functional medicine, and at this time and what functional medicine is we're just looking at the interconnectedness of the body. How is the gut talking to the brain, talking to your detoxification systems? How is everything connected? And all those symptoms you're feeling, those are really just signals telling you that something is not okay. You wouldn't ignore a check engine light in your car. Why do you do that to your body?
So
Why
I love that we're gonna even pause around that, not to interrupt you, but people ignore that the body's brain is the gut
Mm.
and is attached to the spleen, which creates all this fear around it, which can block the healing, which goes right to the brain. So it's the body's brain and the brain, and it's all going haywire on you. And I love the fact that you leaned into functional medicine to heal.
Yeah.
Okay, go, 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 go.
But
Go, go, go.
I finally got my answers, and I'm a woman's wellness appointment, so I went to my OBGYN, tell her, "Hey, my estrogen levels are postmenopausal." She looks at me and says, "Hey, well, are you trying to get pregnant right now?" I said, "No." And I just gave her a blank stare, and she said, "Well, I don't really care then." Is point blank what she told me. And I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I know that hormones do much more than just allow you to be fertile and have children.
Yes.
So after that, I left that doctor's appointment and I said, well, I'm going to heal. It's going to be up to me. And so that's when I took things into my own hands. And then as different pathways and doors would just start flying open, we could be here for hours talking about all the little things that happen. But ultimately, that
Oh,
led.
girl, I know how guided you were. You were like, the minute you chose to shift, it was like things were just, doors weren't opening, they were flying open
Mm.
because you were so aligned with your truth.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was like this unbecoming to become who I was always meant to be. And it's as my body was physically healing, and I thought, you know, very type A, it'll take 4 months to heal. I'll be very calculated. I'll get this and this and this done. Well, 4 months turned into 18 months really dang fast. And first it was a bacterial pathogen in my gut, and then a few months later I actually got black mold. So that was an energy drain. And so through this process of trial and error for myself, I actually ended up going back, getting certified under top dietitians and doctors, and really just learning how to heal the body. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because most people, from what I see, they lose their health over 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You don't just wake up one day and are diabetic. It's a series of choices over time.
Yeah.
But for me, I did lose my health overnight. It was like overnight gone. And
No, you did.
I
You
said,
did.
I do not want any other person to feel this way. And I just know what it's like when you have your health. You could go chase your dreams, you could go step into everything that you've been called to do. But so many people would rather just stay stuck or live in a mindset of scarcity
Mhm.
that they're not willing to take those steps forward. So
Or they may be listening to their authority, which is a doctor that tells them nothing's wrong with you. Look at the six pack. What are you whining about? Go lay down and watch some Netflix. Go rest. It'll get better. A lot of they hit that wall and they don't know where to turn. What made you look at functional medicine? What was on you? What door opened up, or did someone reach out where you said, "I'm going to try this"?
yeah, there was definitely a door that opened for me, and it was such a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
I remember that our church actually had a big day of giving. They were raising $6 million for their new building. God had put on my heart how much money to give, and I'm like having a conversation with them, with the man up top, saying, How much?" "Yeah, that much." I'm like, "That's a lot of money for me." "Yeah, give it." Right? So
Yeah.
I'm generous, I'm abundant with my mindset in that giving, and as soon as that happened, uh, the pastor said, "Does anyone need prayers for advancement? Raise your hand." I'm like, "Heck yeah, who doesn't wanna advance? Who doesn't wanna get help?"
Yeah.
Right? And so I raised
There
my.
your greatness coming out. There's the, like, more. I yes,
Yeah,
me.
give it to me, right?
Give it to me. Yeah.
So, these people start praying over me. All of a sudden, there's little hands on my legs. I look down. It's like a little girl. She must have gotten dismissed from like the children's group. And I look down. She looks exactly like I looked at 7 years old. It was crazy. She was like my little twin. The prayer ends. This man turns to me and said, "The Lord just spoke to me in a vision for you." Crazy enough was I was having a conversation with my girlfriends 4 days before that, saying, "I really wish God spoke to me in a vision." So he doesn't speak to me, he speaks to the person right next to me. And
It
the
delivered the way you saw it, but it was delivered nevertheless.
oh, it was.
I tell people, listen to this because it's never, if we're attached to an outcome of how it's supposed to show up, it's never gonna show up that way, but it is gonna show up. I love this part.
Yes, and so he turns to me and he says, "The Lord spoke to me in a vision." And he just kept saying, "Clear path, clear path, clear path." That's all I could hear. He said, "Imagine you're at a resort. and there's the beach, and it's an empty resort. The sun is setting, and at the end of the pathway from the resort to the ocean, there's a path, and God's at the end saying, "Rest in Him." So this was about a month before my health really, like, tumultuously went downhill.
Yeah.
So this was before I knew what was to come.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I walk out that day, and Rachel Shear, who's a big name in the functional wellness space
Yeah.
that lives in Dallas, she had posted about a scholarship opportunity for an event that she was hosting in Dallas in October. So I walk out, that's the very first thing I see after church. So what do? I take action and I go apply for the scholarship, get
Yeah.
a partial scholarship for it. I show up, I'm present. At the time, I was working in private equity, so working with numbers in a different way, working with data in a different way, had no space in the health and wellness space, even though I dedicated my whole life to health and wellness. Let's be real, right? And
Well, dancing that you could have done nothing without your health and wellness. The dancing, none of that would have been possible. Your whole devotion, your whole motor, as I always said, your soul motor was dance. Your soul motor was joy. I mean, it just radiated throughout your body. And then, yeah, so
yeah, exactly, and so I show up, I'm present, and that's actually where I was introduced to Amberly Lago, which is then how we were introduced, and at that event, I had no idea what kind of business I was gonna start. I had no clue what I was gonna do. I just knew that I needed to somehow commit and invest. And so I committed, I invested into Rachel's mastermind program. And then from there, about 6 months later is when I launched my business.
yeah. I love all of this because, it says your 3 U systems: uncover, uproot, and unleash. Let's talk about that. So here you've launched it. You go through this whole process. Dance is at your core. It's your motor that lights you up. I mean, there's some people that do things that are joyful and it lights them up, but for you, you're like this. I always said it, the 220 plug. There's the 110 we plug into, and that switchboard of the 220 plug. And you're like, I mean, you're like that generator and the 220. Every friggin' fuse in the house is lit because you just come alive. You just come alive. So, what does that mean with the uncover, uproot and unleash when you
Yeah.
with the 3 U's?
So as I was going through my healing process, I really developed a system that worked for me. And coming from a background where I was so focused on data, I believe that was a very important piece of my program and what was going to set it apart. And so Uncover is where we're going to do all that functional lab testing. I had all the opposite symptoms of what was actually a problem in my body. So
Right.
no doctor would have ever said, "Oh, let's get that test done." And I'm so glad I did because we were actually able to uncover what was going on. We're looking at what is the root cause in your body. Why are you experiencing weight gain? Why are you experiencing brain fog or any kind of memory imbalances going on? And so that's step 1. Step 2 is uproot. So once we've actually figured out what's going on, we're gonna actually get to the root of the problem and then help you heal your body. And so what that looks like is we're doing tailored nutrition and supplementation. Sometimes that's where we'll add in some peptide therapy that really is just like a healing accelerant. That's what it has been for my health.
Right.
And then once we go, so uncover, uproot, then unleash. And the reason why I'm so passionate about what I do is because of exactly what I said. I knew what it was like to lose my health overnight. And I believe that everyone's placed on this planet to go do something great in their life. And if you don't have your health, really nothing else matters. I knew this because I was bedbound for days, for weeks, for a few months, really, where there was like I couldn't do anything. I had no energy. But when you have energy and you have a vibrance, you could go you're unstoppable. You could go do anything.
Right. Right. I love that. It's amazing how the one thing that we take for granted until we lose it is our health, and even this weekend I was hiking over on the coast and I rolled my foot a little bit and I'm walking the Camino in September, which isn't that far away. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, what have I done? And I thought, I can't walk. Immediately I go to the worst case scenario. And I'm not that person that does that. but I recognized how valuable it is and how I take for granted that I wake up, I stretch, I meditate, I do all my practices, and that I'm healthy. Even though for years, I was, I suffered and was in the hospital a lot. And I've never taken my health for granted, but right now it's at an all-time high level of really paying attention to all the noises, all the little creaks, everything my body's doing. I'm so dialed in because without my health, I'm not able to show up like I do 10 hours a day and then walk like I do and, build weights, lifting weights at 60 like I do. All the things that look very different than when I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, even 50s. It just shifts. So for you right now, how is the brain fog? How is the health? I mean, I already see the six pack. I mean, people that are not watching this, you again, you're gonna have to go, watch her before and afters and her current videos because you can see the transformation as it unfolds. You're very transparent, which is, something that I love. I love your truth and that you pay forward that truth. You don't just focus on the Dallas Cowboy, Netflix, the high that was your high. For a lot of people, they'd show that and show nothing behind the scenes. You showed everything play out, which was so beneficial, I think, for so many women that say, wow, there was that, then there was this, and wow, there's more and there's more. And then she didn't just listen to that, but she unfolded. It's all the twists and turns. It's not linear at all in your healing. Had you just listened to one person, but you listened to your body, which is
Mm,
really what I want people to take away here. You listen to your body and you still do.
yeah, it's so important, and, I said was really hopeful I would be able to heal in 4 months, and 4 months turned into 18 months really fast. And when I was finally cleared to go train again, it was the most freeing feeling in the world for me. I was so excited. I was also frustrated because I was the highest body fat percentage I think I've ever been at. It was, in my opinion, like, very unhealthy, but that's what my body needed in order to heal. It needed an extra layer of fat to be able to do what it needed to do. And when I was finally cleared, I was like, "Okay, time to lock back in and see what my body can do," and in 6 months, I dropped 12.4% body
Yeah,
fat.
you're locked and loaded. When you were locked and loaded, you were locked and loaded. It was like, okay, she's not slowing down now. But
Yeah, and I'm so grateful because I think something that's very important is to have the right team of people around you.
yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about when you locked back in, you had the discipline, you had the mindset, you had the structure in place, but you had to work through, you had to find your way back. And it's hard to find your way back when you're fighting through the sluggishness and the body fat and all the things that are foreign to you. What self-talk did you say during that period of time? What did you anchor into?
Yeah, I a few things. 1, I anchored into seven-year-old Amanda. That's
Mm,
always something I do. What would that little free-spirited, running around full of joy seven-year-olds do? That's what I always anchor into, and another thing is every morning, I speak to myself out loud who I am, who I want to be spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and so speaking that truth over my life changed the game for me. Every morning I wake up and I speak that truth over my life, even when I didn't believe that it was really gonna be possible, even when I was like, "Man, this is tough," like, to get back in shape again, but
from a place I've never been at before and what does this look like?
yeah, and, I'm grateful because I spent so long healing that when I was ready to go, I was ready to go and to look back and, you have a choice. Do you wanna be a victim or do you want to go take action and go be the change that you wish to see?
That pendulum swinging, how did you find your balance in a world that really celebrates, especially in your industry? Hustle, time, age, youth. Hustle and burnout is big in sports, especially in yours. You have this window of dance and then it's over, but you didn't see that. You just thought, okay, now I'm next. I always call it next level, next devil, where we have something challenging and we work through it. How when you locked I call it locked and loaded because I saw it. I saw your determination, and I'm like, "Okay." And I think I was like, "Go, Amanda, go." I think I couldn't say anything else but that because it was just like, "Go, Amanda, go." There was no stopping you. What would you say to the people that really, that go back in and crash and burn and go back in and crash and burn because they still have the mentality of the hustle, go, time, limits, all what can you say to them to make them ease and flow back into calling back in their health?
Mm. The hardest thing for me to do is rest. And when I learned how to rest for my body, it changed everything for me.
Yeah.
But it was also really important that I had the right coaches around me to be able to help say, hey, you need to pull back or you need to go, you need to lock in. Right. And so and this is thanks to you, Dana,
Mm.
the elephants, having elephants around you, having a circle of elephants. I don't know if she's ever mentioned this on the podcast, but she told me this analogy, this story, how if there's a sick elephant, all the female elephants go around that elephant until
Less surrounded, yeah.
yeah, they surround the elephant until it's healthy again. And I think that that's how we should all attack life, is that you should be razor focused, clear on what it is you want out of life. And if you're not there, you go find someone who has been there or is ahead of you, even just one step ahead of you, to help you time collapse everything. So that's part of the struggle sometimes is you could probably figure it out, but it might take 10 years. Why would you want to spend 10 years frustrated on this hamster wheel when someone has the answer?
Crazy. You've said so many things today, and I just gave a worksheet, a time collapsing worksheet. Everything you usually say, it aligns, it aligns, it aligns. It's how to minimize the time that we spend in the struggle. I always say there's an easy and a hard way. It wasn't that you know, you didn't have it. It wasn't hard. It was difficult. But you kept choosing the easy path, which wasn't linear but consistent. And it becomes easier when we keep choosing us and we surround ourselves with the right mentors, the women around us that support us, and we do surround us and we close the gap until we're ready to emerge. And that's what a good mentor does. I mean, they lock arms. That's a locked and loaded. They don't let go until you're ready to say, okay, she's got it. She's going. She's moving. She's flying. And girl, the reset and rewind for you it's a beautiful thing to watch. And it's almost like when I watch you dance now, I always thought it was beautiful, and every bit of how you showed up, I didn't, ever say, "Oh, she'll get there." I always thought it was just amazing how you showed up, but watching your level of energy now, it's measurable,
Mhm.
and I think that when we look at health, it's measurable, and we look at where we started and where we're at, and tell me how women can work with you. What would it look like, and what kind of woman shows up to work with you, and what can you do for them? Tell me what
Mhm.
the average woman that would be that you would call in that would be, like you said, "I'm one step ahead," or "I'm further down the path," and I've always said that we shine the light down the tunnel. We just need to be ahead, and we will always energetically call that in. We will never call in people that are ahead of us. It's not the way God and the universe works.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to work with the woman that I do because I'm working with really highly motivated, driven women. I like to call them peak performers. They're women who know that they're meant for more, but their health is slowing them down. And this could be something that's been uncovered in the past 1 year, 10 years. Really, that varies, but they've hit a breaking point of it could be the burnout or it could just be like, I'm ready to feel confident in my body and in my skin again, and whatever I've tried hasn't worked. And so, kind of like we've been saying, that the time collapsing mechanism is,
Yeah.
well, I can help you get there a lot quicker than you might be able to yourself because we get a full comprehensive picture of what exactly is going on in your body, and then we systematically work through your body in a way to help you heal. And the woman that I like to work with are women that are going to go after the end of our 6 months together and be able to go step into their wildest dreams, dreams that they previously were kind of stagnant in because they're so
Mhm.
worried about their health.
Well, they were so focused on the symptoms that you're looking at the root cause, and that root cause opens up such a catalyst of and I know how good you are at what you do. I know your meal plan I mean, you're so fastidious and you're so detailed, and like you said, you're a numbers person, but you've applied this, that meticulous nature that you have, that perfectionism, that greatness over here. I mean, if people need, like, a go or recommendation, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know some of the women she works with. You're I mean, I usually don't even say this, but I did endorse it. It's like, it's my stamp, like, boom. It's a hell yes. Yes, absolutely. Move, andale, andale. Don't wait. It's that time collapsing. Don't wait. Don't sit back and wait for health insurance. Don't wait for another diagnosis. Don't wait till you can't get up or you don't know what's going on. If something's alerting you, I say close the gap and move into working with someone like you with functional medicine that could ask the right questions and put you through a process and open up. And it's body, mind, soul. And I love that you do that. And it's like a liberation. It's not, it's not about perfection. It's like a liberation that you give people the permission to meet themselves where they are and rebuild. And it's so inspiring to me that the world is changing because I can tell you 20 years ago, this wasn't available. It just, you just didn't see this integration of this greatness, this athlete, this crash and burn that's come back. I mean, you would see people go out and speak and talk and coach, and they would speak about it on stage, but you've actually built a practice. You've
Mhm.
built this community where now you have your elephants and now you pull the women in the middle. And I love the fact you've done that. You just rock my world. You just do. I just love everything about you.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to add?
I'll just piggyback off of what you were just saying, and I think something that hits really hard is, like, you either can invest in your health now or you will be paying for it later, and I see this over and over and over again when there's people that come into my space that I'm talking about working with, and they say, "I wish that I would have found you 5 years ago. I wish I would have found you 6 months ago." Any amount of time, but they say that, like, "Wow, I feel like a completely different person." I love when I see women that are able to really transform the next chapter of their life because that they've not played victim to,
Mhm.
"Oh, I've always put everyone else before myself, so why invest in myself when they know that they should be?" And so that's how I see it, and I see it so clearly, and I think I have such a strong conviction on that because I've seen it for myself, and I've also seen it for all people that I work with, and it's
Right.
powerful, and I know that in the work that you do as well, Dana, just how much impact you're able to make in such a short period of time, and so that is what I would say is, like, the beauty of finding your elephants.
Yeah, and it's contagious when you find this energy in your people, and it raises the vibration, and it raises what you're connected to, and again, doors open and women show up, and you're like, "Wow, that's amazing. I just was talking about" and then the signs and, God is so present in all of this. Hey,
Mhm.
last question. What feels like love in your life right now?
Mm. Everything feels like love in my life right now.
Mm.
I once heard someone say love stands for life's only valuable emotion, right? It's
Mm.
a very important emotion to feel, and I think it's in the little things. I think it's being able to wake up and enjoy a slow morning, sitting out in my apartment looking at the Dallas skyline, being able to go to the gym this morning and run the fastest mile I've been able to run, being able to see that my VO2 max has gone from 39 to 50 just this year alone. Like, being able to see my health restored, to me, that's love. Love is all of the people around me that have just been by my side through this past year and a half now, and my family, my friends, my loved ones, the passion that I have for dance, it's in all the little details, and
Yeah.
it's also in a really good state because I love steak.
Me too. I love that. I love that about you. Well, you're in Dallas. You're in a good place for that, you know? So, okay. Where is your favorite hub? How can people find you? How can they work with you? We're gonna follow up with all the links, but do you love to hang out on Instagram? Is that your fave? Or is it TikTok?
Instagram's my place. Amanda Soukoulis, Souks. Send me a direct message. Tell me that you found me through this podcast. I always love having conversations with people. If you have any questions, we can connect there and find some time to chat.
I love that. Maybe we'll even use many chats, and if you put Amanda's name in, it'll bounce to her, and she'll get the message, and she'll respond. I know she will. And you are a delight. You are one of those people that always just I can't wait to connect with. I can't wait to have the conversation with. Can't wait to see you again in person. You have a magnetic field around you. I always say that energy goes in 50 feet in all directions, but your energy exceeds that because of your level of joy and your willingness to heal and expand and grow and learn. I learn and knowledge is only as we can only know as much as we're willing to know or want to know. And I love your willingness to want to expand and grow. I would just want to add, I'm so proud of you because I see what you've been through and I see where you're at. And it's just, I'm always clapping like, bravo, bravo. And it's just like, yeah, it's a brilliant thing to watch. And it's such a gift to the women out there. Do you work with men too, or just women? I keep saying women. Should we?
Yeah, I do work with men too.
Oops, sorry, men. Sorry. Now, I know I've been doing that all day. It must be yeah, I did that earlier too, and I'm like, "Ooh, I cut men out." So sorry, guys. Sorry, fellas. So yeah, so you work with men too. So I love that. So we'll have all our links and Amanda, thank you for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. I know this is going to help a lot of people.
Thank you so much. Healing never ends, right? But we can heal and then we can optimize and then go do everything that you were meant to do on this planet.
Ah, yes, and it goes by so fast. It goes don't wait. If anyone's out there waiting and they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna, I'll look at that later." I say, "Stop what you're doing right now. Go look at the energy of her dancing. Go look at the energy of this human and connect because I think that speaks volumes."
Mm,
I'm all about the energy of people showing up and you can see your passion for what you do and how you pay it forward. And I'm a huge advocate for that. So if I'm really like pro Amanda right now, it's only because I see where you are and
mm,
it's authentic and it's real and I'm all about that. You say things, but I feel it and watch you and it's what do they say? The proof is in the pudding. Is that an old saying? The proof is in the pudding. Although
yes.
I like pudding.
Well, thank you so much. It's
Oh, thank
such a
you.
wonderful conversation.
It was. Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I'll have all the links and you can connect with Amanda out there. Her favorite place is the gram. And until next time, just stay heart centered, stay connected, and lean in, not lean out.